Sri Ganeshaya Namaha. Dear students, today we are going to see the solutions of quadratic equation by factorization. By substituting arbitrary values for the variables and deciding the roots of quadratic equation is a time-consuming process. Let us learn to use factorization method to find the roots of the given quadratic equations. Now we have seen that the polynomial x square minus 4x minus 5 can be factorized as x minus 5 multiplied by x plus 1. That is, x minus 5 and x plus 1 are two linear factors of quadratic polynomial x square minus 4x minus 5. So, the quadratic equation obtained from x square minus 4x minus 5 can be written as x minus 5 multiplied by x plus 1 is equal to 0. If we have the polynomial x square minus 4x minus 5, which can be factorized as x minus 5 multiplied by x plus 1. So if we have the equation x square minus 4x minus 5 is equal to 0, we can definitely write this as x minus 5 multiplied by x plus 1 equal to 0. That is what they are saying. Now if product of two numbers is 0, then at least one of them is 0. For example, suppose 0 multiplied by 5. So one factor is 0, so product is 0. If you consider one factor as 10 and other factor is 0, then also the product is 0. And if both the factors are 0, 0 into 0 is also 0. That is what they are saying, that if the product of two numbers is 0, either the first factor is 0 or the second factor is 0 or both are 0. So we are considering this here. So if product of x minus 5 multiplied by x plus 1 is equal to 0, therefore x minus 5 is equal to 0 or x plus 1 is equal to 0. And x minus 5 is equal to 0. If we add 5 to both sides, we are getting x is equal to 5. And here if we add minus 1 to both sides, we are getting x is equal to minus 1. Therefore 5 and the number minus 1 are the roots of the given quadratic equation. Now note here, the values of x cannot be both 5 and minus 1. So here we say that or x is equal to 5 or x is equal to minus 1. But as far as the roots are concerned, both are roots, and therefore we say 5 and minus 1 are roots. Here this and is important. While solving the equation, first we obtain the linear factors. So we call this method as factorization method of solving quadratic equation. Now solve the following quadratic equation by factorization. The first is m square minus 14m plus 13 equal to 0. Now here what we do, the coefficient of the quadratic, first of all we have to write this in the descending power of the variable. So here a variable is m, power is 2, here power is 1 and here power is 0. Now you have to consider the coefficient of the quadratic term, that is 1 here, and the last term, that is 13. The product of 1 and 13 is 13. And you have to consider the factors of 13. Now here last term is positive, here plus 13. If the last term is positive, either both will be positive or both will be negative. So you can have minus 13 into minus 1 also 13, and you can have plus 13 and plus 1 also product is 13. But now since we want the sum as minus 14, and therefore both minus, if you consider minus 13 and minus 1, they will add up to give you minus 14. You have to understand that what we do first, see the coefficient of the quadratic term. Here the quadratic term is 1m square, so 1 you have taken, and the last term is 13, that 13 is taken. You have to multiply, 1 into 13 is 13. Now the factors of 13 are 1 into 13, only one pair of factors. Now since we want minus 14 middle, sum is minus 14. So we have to take both minus 1 and minus 13. That is what it is shown here. So this m square is written down as it is. Minus 14m is splitted as minus 13m and minus 1m. and plus 13 is written as plus 13. Now you have to take a pair of first two and last two. In m square minus 13m, m is common. M multiplied by m gives you m square. M multiplied by minus 13 gives you minus 13m. And minus 1m and plus 13, nothing is common. When nothing is common, 1 is always there. So this minus, along with minus sign, you have written minus 1 as common. So minus 1 multiplied by m gives you minus 1m. And since you want plus here, plus 13, therefore here you have written minus 13. So minus 1 into minus 13 gives you plus 13. Now you have to check here that whatever you are getting in the bracket here, same you must get here. If not, you have to go back and check something wrong. Now here, this is one term. This is another term. There are two terms. The factors of the first term are m and m minus 13, whereas the factors of the other term are minus 1 and m minus 13. The common factor is m minus 13. So whatever is common, we write it once. So m minus 13 is written once, and whatever remains, this is m and minus 1, that is written in the second bracket, is equal to 0. Now we have seen here that if the product of two terms is 0, then either the first factor is 0 or the second factor is 0. Now if m minus 13 is 0, we are getting m is equal to 13, or if m minus 1 is equal to 0, we are getting m is equal to 1. Therefore 13 and 1 are the roots of the given quadratic equation. Now consider second. 3x square minus x minus 10 equal to 0. So 3x square minus x minus 10 equal to 0. Now here you will find that the coefficient of the quadratic term is 3 and the last term is minus 10. So 3 into minus 10 is minus 30. When the last term is negative, you have to see two factors whose signs are different. So here you are getting minus 6 and plus 5, whose product is minus 13, and minus 6 and plus 5, whose sum is minus 1. So factors of 30 you can get several ways. 1 into 30, then 2 into 15, then 3 into 10, etc. But what you want that pair where the product is minus 30. All this product is minus 30, that is okay. And sum you want minus 1, because here you are having the coefficient of the middle term is minus 1. So here you are not getting the sum as minus 1. So only this pair you are getting minus 6 and plus 5. The product is minus 30 and the algebraic sum is minus 1. Here 3x square is written as it is, minus x is split as minus 6x plus 5x, and minus 10 equal to 0. So here 3x is common. If you consider the factors of 3x square, that is 3x into x, and this is 3x into 2. So 3x is common. Here x remains, and 3x into minus 2 is minus 6x. Now here 5x and minus 10. Here you will get 5 into x and 5 into 2. So 5 is a common factor. It starts with plus, so here it is plus 5. Now whatever remains, you have to write inside the bracket. 5 multiplied by x gives you 5x, and 5 multiplied by minus 2 gives you minus 10. This is equal to 0. As I told you before, whatever you are getting here, x minus 2, you should get same here, x minus 2. So in these two terms, x minus 2 is common. So x minus 2 is written once only, and whatever remains, that is this 3x and plus 5, is written in the second bracket. This is equal to 0. Now when the product of two terms is 0, either the first factor is 0 or the second factor is 0. So 3x plus 5 is 0 or x minus 2 is 0. If you have 3x plus 5 is equal to 0, you want the value of x. So first this 5 we don't want. Out of this, we are having two terms, 3x and plus 5. So this plus 5 is another term. So that we shall transpose. So 3x is equal to minus 5. And now if you divide both sides by 3, you will get x is equal to minus 5 upon 3. That is what they have written here. And x minus 2 equal to 0. If you add 2 to both sides, you are getting x is equal to 2. Therefore, minus 5 upon 3 and 2 are the roots of given quadratic equation. Consider next sum. I think here you may refer page 36, example 246. There you may be using this. Now here, the sum is 3y square plus 15y is equal to 0. Now you are asked to solve this by factorization. So you can write this 15y on left hand side with negative sign. It is transposed to left hand side, it become minus. So 3y square minus 15y is equal to 0. Now here 3y square, if you consider the factors, 3y square minus 15 means 3 5s are 15y. So here 3y is there, here also 3 and y is there. The common factor is 3y. And what is not common is y minus 5. This y minus 5 is uncommon. This is equal to 0. Here either 3y is equal to 0, this first factor, or y minus 5 is equal to 0, second factor. If you divide these both by 3, you will get y is equal to 3y upon 3 is y, and 0 upon 3 is 0. And if you add 5 to these both sides, y minus 5 plus 5 will become y. 0 plus 5 is 5. So y is equal to 0 or y is equal to 5. Therefore 0 and 5. As I told you before, when you are solving, this is or. But when you are writing roots, you have to write and. 0 and 5 are the roots of the quadratic equation.